LBC Newsline, 30 minutes of the most trending developments from across Liberia and other parts of our one world. Today is Friday, the 17th day of November 2023. My name is Zokwe Bestlakonen, your presenter. In the headlines, ruling coalition for democratic change urges calm among supporters ahead of NEC official declaration of winner.
There is no reason to waver. There is no reason to be worried. There is no reason for any sedition reaction or any of our supporters to cower in fear.
African Liberation League standard bearer emphasizes maintenance of post-election peace and stability in Liberia.
We are a people still struggling to overcome the effects and trauma of a brutal and fratricidal context from which we have never reconciled or healed. We are a traumatized people, which, in spite of our tough exterior, are fragile and vulnerable.
Dozens of disadvantaged youth denounce violence, vow never to be used to cause post-election chaos. And away from home, two rebel groups join forces with Sudan's army in ongoing civil war with the RSF rebels. These stories plus many more developments are all packaged in today's edition of the program LNTV News Live. We now go over to Emmanuel Colley for the Bulletin of News.
The ruling coalition for democratic change is calling on its supporters to remain calm and stable in the wake of ongoing pronouncement of results. The CDC said no amount of propaganda should provoke any of its supporters to waver, as NEC is the only authorized institution established to declare winners. CDC campaign spokesperson Councillor Kanyok Bagbala admonished the partisans to be resolute and wait on the National Elections Commission for final results.
There is no reason to waver. There is no reason to be worried. There is no reason for any sedition reaction or any of our supporters to cower in fear. And so therefore we are telling our partisans, remain calm, remain stable.
Latest results announced by the National Elections Commission so far put UP's political leader Joseph Boakai ahead of President George Weah. Councillor Kanyok Bagbala, however, cautioned CDC and the president's supporters not to be carried away by what he called social media polls. The political leader of the African Liberation League is appealing to fellow politicians and Liberians to uphold the country's hard-earned peace. Madam Sarah Besloyanti said outcome of the 2023 election should not be used as a trigger to undermine the stability of Liberia. But Yanti noted that protecting the votes must in no way amount to violence, but a concept that ensures the election results reflect the general will of the people of Liberia.
I introduced the concept of protecting the votes in our Liberian politics earlier this year in July, and it is very important that I clarify that protecting the votes does not and was never intended to include violence. It is to ensure that the outcomes of our elections represent the will of our people.
She spoke in Monrovia Friday during the press conference on the current political situation in Liberia. The African Liberation League standard bearer reminded Liberians that the country is still struggling with the effects of the civil conflict. It cannot afford a relapse. More than 50 disadvantaged youth have vowed to foster peace during and after the release of the official results of the National Elections Commission. The disadvantaged youth also urged the two contending parties and their supporters to refrain from acts that could undermine the country's peace. The head of the group, Jenkins Sia, praised the National Elections Commission for the peaceful conduct of the runoff election. He spoke Thursday at a one-day peace-building dialogue organized by the Kakleridi Services in Monrovia. Meanwhile, the Kakleridi Services peace-building program manager has told the group for the commitment and assured event of the entity's unflinching support. The Foreign Minister Tema Duncan Sawyer has reacted to claims made by Madam Winnie Cummins Wilson, the former apprentice at the Liberia Permanent Mission in New York. Madam Cummins has continuously claimed to be an employee at the mission who is being witch-hunted by authorities at the Foreign Ministry. Addressing a news conference Thursday in Monrovia, Deputy Minister Duncan Sawyer said Madam Cummins Wilson volunteered at the Liberian Permanent Mission as an apprentice. She added that monthly compensation to Madam Cummins has terminated because of her failure to meet up with the June 30 submission deadline of legal documents to regularize her status for employment.
She sent in one old work permit, DED. DED was the very first time when the war was raging, when we had the war. She never changed her document, and DED is not legal anymore in America. But DED cannot work at the permanent.
Madam Sawyer stated that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has no intention to wish on anyone as alleged by Madam Cummins. She stated that all diplomatic staff are required to regularize their status in keeping with administrative policy. And residents of Grand Bassa County have resolved to patiently await the National Elections Commission to announce the official results in the presidential runoff election. The citizens said it is a violation of the electoral guidelines of Liberia to celebrate ahead of the next official pronouncement of results. Our correspondent calls the citizens are calling on Liberians to remain law-abiding by voting on the neck for the final results. Meanwhile, citizens in the county have commended the John Security for the level of professionalism exhibited during the runoff election on Tuesday.
Emmanuel Colley there with the news bulletin. He will be here again with a weather update and international development. One of the big stories we are following on today's presentation: dozens of disadvantaged youth denounce violence, vow never to be used to cause post-election chaos. Supporters of the ruling Coalition for Democratic Change have been cautioned to remain calm and stable in the wake of the pronouncement of results. The CDC believes no amount of propaganda should provoke any of its supporters to waver, as NEC is the only authorized institution established to declare winners. CDC campaign spokesperson Councillor Kanyo Baigbala spoke on Make At Hour Friday.
There is no reason to waver. And I repeat that. There is no reason to waver. There is no reason to be worried. There is no reason for any sedition, reaction, or any of our supporters to cower in fear. We are in an age where fake news rules. We are in an age where any guy with a smartphone and internet connection can ascribe unto himself the role of an expert. We're in an age when somebody can conjure up any kind of platform and go on there and spread disinformation and misinformation to the population. Because most of the information coming out that's creating these anxiety out there in the public, that's trying to create the appearance that somebody has won, is mainly being propagated by people on Facebook who have political side. Look, these lies can be a basis for violence in our country. I've always said this. They think that they can incite people to get in the streets. We are going to 4:30 again today. So the results will be released to our many supporters. President Weah has a clear statistical pathway to the presidency in these elections. We like to make that emphatically clear. The numbers out there, they have a very slim and unsteady lead of 16,000 votes. But we saw it in the first round. When the first results were released, they led. When the second results were released, they led. Ultimately, who came